Yo, we are back at it again once more with some more dumb shading stuff that nobody's gonna watch. All right, so for this one, I've got something special. I think because I don't know why, but it's special, I promise. All right, so this is transparency that will kick the bucket of that last video I put out. I mean, it's not going to kick it literally, like, but it invalidates a lot of it because this makes transparency a lot easier. There is one caveat in that this does not overlap very nicely with other characters, and it's not this. This is all fine. But these models and these shaders I have with this preset will allow you to do some funny, wacky stuff. Such as, if we have this Charizard model here, I can take this texture, and if I go in here and resources, shader maps, and I'll just replace it with whiteness, nothingness, if you will, and we get regular Charizard. And he'll show up like regular Charizard, so we can load him in game, and he'll look pretty much normal. He'll be slightly see-through, 5%. Oh, like out of 200, it's very close. But for all intents and purposes, it's a basic physical normal looking model. However, you can change this texture to whatever you would like. So like if I do, what we had before, we'll have this rim and it will be transparent here. I know you're gonna say, well, Rizzy, you've already shown me some, random transparent stuff before. Why should I care about this now? Well, let's look at this in game then, shall we? Okay, all right. So we're in here, we're in game, and Charizard is loaded, and he's looking pretty regular. He's looking pretty transparent, if you will, looking a little ghostly even. So this will fix that overlapping problem from before. So you can see that Charizard now has no issues with his transparency. Now, some things to note about this, things it's not perfect for, is that the game technically thinks this is a physical model. So you can see behind him, fire is hidden, even though it's staging. But I can take that. It still looks rad as heck. So I will take this as a win. Let's look at some more examples though, okay? So here's another thing that's important to note, is that just like how she hides me, Charizard still hides her. So, not the best there. However, this is only a character order menu, or issue, I should say, because characters are rendered in order. So, like, if I choose Pit, for example, and I put Charizard to that other one, we can go into a stage here, and when he's loaded, it will actually be fine. So you can see, like, Pit shows up behind Charizard now. And it's cool because the lighting the stage lighting still will affect these models, so you can imagine it like a solid chunk of glass that it works like now. So, that one's pretty cool. Let's look at another one, why don't we? Ready, go! So this is the same model before, but it is now applied with a spectral plasma effect. And I know the lighting doesn't look that much different while it's in a dark stage like this, but essentially this will act the same way that most light sources do. So if you go into a bright stage, the character will actually show up as like bright energy kind of looking guy. It's not dark when it overlaps with things. The basic difference is that the other one is negative lighting and this is additive lighting. Ready, go! So this is an example of what you can do with these types of materials. You can finally create models that are supposed to be transparent but still show up. So you can see that this is like a working boo. I just put this over Charizard as an example, but this mouth is my favorite part. It's like, look, that doesn't show up, but the model is still transparent. That is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And as usual, I always have a Photoshop document that lets you edit this a lot easier. So you can see, you can actually set the colors for this. It's like basically a rim light. You can set the colors for this on the bottom here. So I'm going to set this to white as an example. Because with the physical version of this, you should always use white. You can use other stuff, it will just tint it, And then the transparency is up top. So I'm going to flip this actually. So I'm going to do this at 100. 100, and then we'll do this one at 20, and this one at 0. So this should flip essentially what we get here. Call it fuzz edge. So now, if I go here and I replace this texture, okay, now you can see that Charizard has a transparent edge rather than a visible one, and this one will work properly. So I'm going to save this just to see how this works as an example. And then one more just to show something really cool is that you can change this to be non-rim light textures too. Okay, so now that we're back in the game, if we load up Charizard, we should get... Yeah, what the heck, that's wacky. Yeah, so look, so now he has a literal transparent edge to him. So he's like a kind of like a little specter guy coming in here, being a little spooky, if you will. But I'm sure you guys will find something to do with it, having transparent edge characters. Now what's next is getting this to work with spy cloak material so they can warp textures. Let's see what the next one looks like though. So this one has the actual texture applied to it. So you can see here, this actually has the transparency working as intended. If you remember in my other video where you had to use hard edge, this is working soft edge without overlapping issues. And again, so the one thing with this physical material that you have to realize is that like if I zoom into Charizard here, you can technically, let me use this wing as a good example, yeah. So you can see through him barely. It's not really noticeable from afar. But the purpose of this isn't to be fully visible anyway, because unless you're doing moveset animations, this isn't really essential for that. However, it works just fine. Yeah, so I hope that was kind of useful. The transparent stuff is kind of hard to get working, so it can take a while to get all these materials available and editable that works in a good way. But I was hoping that this would be something that could be used pretty easily. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you find some use out of it. Cool.